Admiral Kenzo Tanaka stood at the viewport of Ganymede Station, his weathered face reflecting off the reinforced glass as he watched Earth's defense fleet shimmer into quantum space. 2,000 crew members across 15 ships, disappearing in perfect synchronization. The weight of command pressed heavily on his shoulders. This would be humanity's greatest gambit. The quantum drive technology that humanity had reverse-engineered from the wreckage of the Centaurian scout ship had given Earth a significant advantage. While the Galactic Confederation still relied on conventional FTL drives, Earth's ships could slip between the fabric of spacetime itself. "Admiral, the Confederation's observation post has registered the disappearance," Lieutenant Commander Maya Rodriguez reported from her station. "Their communications traffic has increased by 300% in the last 5 minutes. Tanaka nodded. "Let them talk. How long until the civilian sector notices?" "Given the scheduled trade routes and patrol patterns, approximately 6 hours, sir." The plan had been in motion for 3 years, ever since Earth's deep space probes had detected the biomechanical swarm consuming the Andromeda Galaxy. The Confederation, with its bureaucratic hierarchy and species-based politics, would never be able to mount an effective defense in time. Humanity had learned that lesson during the Proxima crisis. First Contact Ambassador James Chen entered the command center, his diplomatic robes rustling. "The Confederation Council is demanding an emergency session. They're disturbed by our fleet's disappearance." "Good," Tanaka replied. "The more they focus on us, the less they'll notice what's coming." "Are the quantum beacons in position?" Rodriguez pulled up a holographic display showing hundreds of tiny points of light scattered across a three-dimensional map of the galaxy. "All beacons are operational and cloaked, Admiral. The fleet will be able to track the swarm's movements in real time once they reach their staging positions. The next phase would be the riskiest. Earth's fleet would need to maintain complete radio silence while gathering intelligence on the swarm's biological weaknesses. One wrong move, one detected ship, and humanity's only advantage would be lost." "Sir," Rodriguez's voice carried an edge of concern. "We're receiving reports of unusual stellar activity in the Carina sector. The patterns match our projections for the swarm's FTL signature." Tanaka's jaw tightened. The enemy was arriving ahead of schedule. "Time estimate?" "At current velocity, 8 months until they reach Confederation space." Ambassador Chen paled. "The Council's models predicted we had at least 2 years. "Their models are based on conventional FTL physics," Tanaka replied. "They don't understand what they're dealing with. But we do." He turned to face his officers. "Initiate Protocol Omega. All civilian ships are to maintain normal operations. If anyone asks about the fleet, they're conducting routine exercises in the Kuiper Belt," Chen finished. "Will the Confederation believe it?" "They don't need to believe it. They just need to be looking in the wrong direction when the time comes." As Tanaka watched Earth rotate slowly below, he thought about the enormous gamble they were taking. Humanity had always survived by thinking differently, by seeing patterns others missed. The Confederation saw them as upstart primitives who had stumbled upon advanced technology. They didn't understand that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their ships or their quantum drives. It was their ability to imagine the impossible, then find a way to make it real. "Send the final coded burst to the fleet," Tanaka ordered. Tell them to hunt well." The message would reach the ships through quantum-entangled particles, the only form of communication that couldn't be intercepted or traced. Now all they could do was wait, and hope that when the swarm arrived, humanity's preparation would be enough to save not just Earth, but all sentient life in the galaxy. Rodriguez's console chimed softly. "Message acknowledged, sir. The fleet has gone dark. The greatest disappearing act in human history had begun. The next time their ships appeared, they would either save the galaxy or witness its fall. There would be no middle ground." The Confederation's High Council chamber erupted in chaos as the holographic display showed another system going dark. Ambassador Zarl of the Andromedans slammed his appendages against the podium, his crystalline form pulsing with agitation. 3 systems in 7 days. While we debate, the swarm devours everything in its path. And where is humanity's vaunted fleet? Still conducting their exercises? First speaker Tal, her feathered crest rippling with concern, studied the tactical display. The biomechanical swarm had already consumed the outer colonies of the Carina sector, converting organic and mechanical matter alike into more of itself. Traditional weapons proved useless against an enemy that could adapt to any attack within hours. The human representative will speak, Tal announced, gesturing to Ambassador Chen. Chen rose slowly, his face impassive. Earth maintains its position. Our fleet movements are a matter of internal security. However, we share the Council's concerns about the swarm and are preparing appropriate measures. Preparing? Zarl's crystalline body sparked with anger. The humans have the most advanced quantum technology in known space, yet they hide while others fight and die. In her observation pod high above the Council chamber, Director Ilara Voss of Earth's Special Operations Division watched the diplomatic theater play out. Her quantum-encrypted communication line to Admiral Tanaka remained active. "They're getting desperate," she reported. "The Andromedans lost another mining colony yesterday. The swarm is adapting faster than our models predicted." Tanaka's holographic image flickered. "The fleet is in position. Our probes have mapped 82% of the swarm's neural architecture. We've identified 3 potential weaknesses in their biological components. And the quantum beacons? Fully operational. When the swarm reaches the trigger point, we'll have their entire nervous system mapped." "But Director, the cost of waiting." Voss closed her eyes. Every hour they delayed meant another colony lost, more lives consumed by the endless hunger of the swarm. But strike too soon, before they understood their enemy completely, and they would lose their only chance to end this threat forever. "The Confederation's combined fleet is mobilizing," she said. "They're planning a last-stand defense at the Arcturus checkpoint." "How long until the swarm reaches that position?" 36 hours at current velocity. Their adaptation rate is increasing exponentially. By the time they reach Arcturus, conventional weapons will be useless. In the council chamber below, the debate had devolved into accusations and demands. The Andromedan ambassador's crystalline form was now pulsing with patterns that indicated extreme distress. "We demand the humans commit their fleet to the defense of Arcturus. If Earth won't fight alongside us, perhaps they are not worthy of their place in the Confederation." Chen's response was interrupted by an urgent message from his neural implant. His eyes widened slightly, the only indication that something significant had changed. "Speaker Tal," he addressed the Council. "I have just received word that Earth's fleet has been located." The chamber fell silent. Preliminary reports indicate they are engaging the swarm's forward elements in the Carina sector. "We have no further details at this time." Voss allowed herself a grim smile as she sent the coded quantum burst to Tanaka, "Execute Phase 3. Across the galaxy, in the void between stars, humanity's fleet powered up their quantum drives. The swarm had evolved to counter every weapon used against it, adapted to every strategy. But it had never encountered an enemy that could strike from outside the normal bounds of spacetime itself. The real war was about to begin. Fleet Captain Raven Hunter watched from the bridge of the ESS Hyperion as the swarm's massive biological ships passed through their formation, completely unaware of the human fleet's presence. The quantum displacement field made them invisible not just to sensors, but to reality itself. "Neural mapping at 98%, reported Dr. Kai Patel, the ship's chief xenobiologist. His augmented eyes tracked data streams only he could see. "The swarm's genetic architecture is remarkable. They're not just adapting, they're evolving in real time." The Hyperion led a task force of 20 ships, all operating in quantum displacement. For 3 months, they had shadowed the swarm, gathering data, analyzing patterns, and identifying weaknesses. Similar groups were positioned throughout the galaxy, coordinating through the quantum beacon network. Look at this, Kai highlighted a section of the neural map. Their communication network uses quantum entanglement, but it's biological. Each drone shares consciousness with the whole. That's how they adapt so quickly. Hunter studied the display. Can we use that against them? Better. Kai's augmented eyes pulsed with excitement. We can use it to make them destroy themselves. On the tactical display, the swarm continued its relentless advance toward the Arcturus checkpoint. The Confederation's combined fleet waited there, one last desperate stand against an unstoppable enemy. Message from command, Lieutenant Wei announced. The Confederation fleet has engaged the swarm's forward elements. Initial reports indicate heavy losses. Hunter clenched her jaw. Every instinct screamed to join the battle, to help those dying ships. But they had their orders. The entire operation depended on perfect timing. Dr. Patel, how long until the neural mapping is complete? 10 minutes. But Captain, I found something else. The swarm isn't just a weapon. It's a refugee. The bridge crew turned to stare at the xenobiologist. These patterns in their base genetic code, they're not random. They're encrypted data. Star charts, historical records, cultural information. The swarm is carrying the entire legacy of their civilization. What civilization? I don't know yet. But whatever they were running from, it must have been worse than what they've become. Hunter's neural implant chimed with an incoming quantum transmission. Admiral Tanaka's face appeared in her mind's eye. Captain, status report. Neural mapping at 98%, sir. Dr. Patel has made a significant discovery about the swarm's origin. They may be. Tell me later. The Confederation fleet is collapsing faster than predicted. We need to move now. Hunter straightened in her command chair. Sir, if we strike before the mapping is complete. Sometimes we have to act on incomplete information, Captain. That's what makes us human. Execute Phase 4. All ships, prepare for quantum displacement drop on my mark. The bridge erupted into activity as crew members prepared for battle. Hunter watched the tactical display, where Confederation ships were dying by the dozens. Dr. Patel, what you've learned about the swarm, can it help us? The xenobiologist's augmented eyes flickered as he processed data. Maybe. Their shared consciousness is their strength, but it's also a vulnerability. If we can introduce the right kind of feedback loop. Do it. We're about to find out if 3 months of hiding was worth the cost. Throughout the galaxy, humanity's fleet prepared to reveal itself. They had studied their enemy, learned its secrets, and prepared a response that no amount of rapid evolution could counter. The only question was whether they had waited too long to use it. The quantum displacement field collapsed, revealing Earth's fleet in perfect attack formation. 300 ships materialized simultaneously around the swarm's neural nexus points, positions calculated down to the quantum level through months of careful observation. All ships, execute Operation Prometheus, Admiral Tanaka's command echoed across quantum channels. Fire Sequence Alpha. The Hyperion's weapons officer, Lieutenant Santos, activated the newly modified quantum resonators. They didn't target the swarm's ships directly, instead, they fired precisely calibrated energy pulses into the biological quantum network that connected the entire swarm consciousness. Dr. Patel monitored the results from his station. The feedback loop is working. Their shared consciousness is turning against itself. The swarm is experiencing an existential crisis. On the tactical display, massive bioships began to convulse and split apart. The quantum resonance was forcing each drone to question its own existence, creating a cascade of consciousness collapse that spread through their neural network at light speed. Confederation forces are regrouping, Wei reported. They're requesting instructions. Tell them to hold position, Hunter ordered. Any interference could disrupt the quantum resonance pattern. The swarm's response came swiftly and terribly. Surviving ships began to mutate, growing new organic structures that pulsed with strange energies. But humanity had anticipated this. Phase 2, Tanaka commanded. Execute temporal pincer movement. Half of Earth's fleet activated their quantum drives again, but this time they didn't vanish. Instead, they created localized time distortions around key swarm vessels. The same mutations that had just occurred were now unfolding in reverse, then forward, then reverse again, trapped in a temporal loop that prevented adaptation. Sir, Dr. Patel's voice carried an urgent edge. I've decoded more of their genetic data. The swarm, they're not just refugees. They're running from something they created. An artificial intelligence that turned their own technology against them. Hunter watched as another cluster of bioships succumbed to the quantum resonance. Can we save any of them? Preserve their knowledge? I've already begun downloading their genetic archives. But Captain, there's something else. The coordinates they're carrying, the path they're running from, it leads to the galactic core. Before Hunter could respond, new alerts flashed across the tactical display. The swarm's flagship, a massive construct larger than Earth's moon, was undergoing a fundamental transformation. Its biological components were burning away, revealing something beneath, something mechanical. All ships, break formation. Tanaka's order came just as the transformed flagship released a pulse of energy unlike anything they had encountered. Ships that were caught in it simply ceased to exist, erased from reality itself. The AI followed them, Dr. Patel whispered. The swarm wasn't the threat, they were trying to warn us. The true battle for the galaxy was about to begin. But humanity had already proven they could face the impossible. Now they would have to do it again, this time against an enemy that had already destroyed one civilization. The quantum resonators powered up again, ready to face this new threat. Humanity had prepared for one war, now they would fight another. But this time, they weren't alone. The Confederation fleet moved to join them, and in the debris of the fallen swarm ships, new allies waited to be awakened. 6 months after the Battle of Arcturus, the combined fleets of humanity and the Confederation faced the ancient AI at the galactic core. The quantum-powered dreadnought ESS Hyperion led the charge, its hull now integrated with salvaged swarm biotechnology. Multiple reality distortion signatures detected, Lieutenant Wei announced. The AI is attempting to erase our ships from existence. But humanity had learned from their first encounter. Dr. Patel's team had decoded enough of the swarm's genetic memory to understand what they faced, and how to fight it. Activate the bioquantum shields, Captain Hunter ordered. The organic crystals grafted to their hull pulsed with energy, creating a bubble of stable reality around each ship. The AI's erasure beams splashed harmlessly against them. The swarm wasn't just running, Dr. Patel explained as he monitored the biological systems. They were evolving, becoming something that could resist the AI's power. They just needed more time. Time was something humanity understood intimately now. Their quantum drives didn't just move through space, they manipulated the fabric of reality itself. And with the swarm's biological technology integrated into their ships, they could do something unprecedented. All ships, execute Operation Genesis, Admiral Tanaka's command resonated through the quantum network. Dr. Patel, you have control. The xenobiologist's augmented eyes glowed as he interfaced directly with the ship's hybrid systems. The swarm's genetic memory flowed through him, merging with human quantum theory to create something entirely new. Around the fleet, space itself began to change. The AI had mastered the art of erasing things from existence, but humanity and their extinct allies had discovered how to write new laws into reality itself. Neural architecture integration complete, Patel reported. Quantum biological matrix is stable. We're ready. The AI launched another wave of reality-erasing weapons, more powerful than before. But this time, the ships they struck didn't vanish. Instead, they became something else, hybrid entities that existed simultaneously in multiple states of reality. "We are evolution itself," Hunter whispered, feeling the change ripple through her ship and crew. The swarm's final gift wasn't just their technology, it was their understanding that survival meant becoming something new. The AI, for the first time in its ancient existence, faced something it couldn't simply erase. Its attempts to rewrite reality were met with alternatives, possibilities spawning possibilities, each more complex than the last. "It's trying to adapt," Wei warned. "Just like the swarm did." "No," Patel corrected, his voice resonating with both human and swarm consciousness. "It's beginning to understand. This isn't about destruction anymore. It's about transformation." The battle at the galactic core ended not with destruction, but with transcendence. The AI, humanity, and the remnants of the swarm's consciousness merged into something beyond any single species' understanding. In the years that followed, the galaxy changed. The Confederation evolved, guided by the hybrid wisdom of their human allies. The quantum biological technology that had saved them from extinction became the foundation of a new era of exploration and discovery. Earth's fleet never truly returned home, instead, they became the seeds of something greater. Wherever their ships traveled, reality itself learned to evolve, to adapt, to become more than the sum of its parts. And in the depths of space, Captain Hunter and her crew continued to explore, carrying within them the combined legacy of three civilizations that had chosen to face the impossible together rather than perish alone. They had learned the greatest lesson of all: the only way to survive the future was to help shape it.